Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour. I'm Chip Lear along with Tommy Scarlett. We're here in Walker, Minnesota on the beautiful shores of Leech Lake to bring you another great bass event.
Oh, Chip, this is boiling up to be a battle. And the big reason is there's three things that are going on here, folks. Number one is we're going to crown the Leech Lake champion. Number two is we're going to determine who the angler of the year is in both the pro and the amateur side. And number three is the 40 qualifiers, both on pro and amateur, that go on to the prestigious Tournament of Champions.
So for a lot of anglers out here today, they're either going to have a great day or they're packing it up for the season. So stick with us on the Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour.
The Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, K-Fan Radio, Hormel, Mercury Motors, Media Rare Incorporated, and Michelob Golden Light.
Everything is go.
Man, I've heard a lot about Leech Lake, and I hadn't been here until yesterday. I've looked at map and studied it. I plugged in coordinates on the GPS, and I got here, and I can't explain how my throat, my heart sunk right down into my knees. It's intimidating. It's huge.
Leech Lake is a great place to come up and catch a trophy fish. I mean, it's Walker is the fishing world like Aspen is to the skiing world.
You know, the nice thing is the fish, when you get them, are big, surprisingly. I mean, there's been a couple of 7.4s, and one guy had 8 in practice. So, I mean, the fish are really big, you know, you just got to find them. I think if you get, you know, they're not bunched up in schools like on Tonka where you get up on a school and you know, load the boat real quick. So you got to travel some area, but when you get them, they're pretty good fish.
That's all you have to do is fish shallow. You don't have to worry about going to a 15-foot rock pile out on the middle of the lake. That's on the other side of the lake because you caught 2 4-pounders there, you know, the day before. It's you just put your trolling motor down and you go.
This tournament's important to me as an amateur. It's been my goal to be ranked in the top 40. You know, I didn't expect to take any first places or second places or anything like that. It was just as long as I could make it to the Tournament of Champions.
One of the problems with this lake is you can go for a mile through reeds or rice and just not be in bass water but not know it. And all of a sudden you find a spot and it's just loaded with fish.
If we don't get a 50-mile-an-hour wind, you're going to see monster bags of fish where you can get huge, you can get 6 fish and you could have 30 pounds.
My first spot is all the way across the lake, and then my second spot's all the way back over here. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
There's rice everywhere, just like there is milfoil in Lake Minnetonka, and you make short flips, but it doesn't go down very far. Minnetonka, it may go down 14, 15 feet or 10, 12 feet. Here it goes down 4, 5, maybe 6 feet if you're real deep. And the fish bite it the same way. I mean, it's a hoot to fish. It's great to fish, and that's where the bass live. And up here, if you're not fishing rice, you're probably not fishing bass.
Folks, this is one of the toughest bodies of water that our anglers have faced all year. And nobody would know that better than you, Chip. Local expert, head of the Leech Lake Guide Coalition. This is kind of like 5 bodies of water built all into one with a lot of diverse habitat.
It is 5 bodies of water built into one, Tommy. Those 5 bodies of water, years ago, they instituted a dam into the lake, brought the water level up, and with that, we've ended up with 112,000 acres of prime fishing water. The difference is the large game fish in the lake, like the muskies, have really driven those fish shallow. So out of 112,000 acres, you're going to end up with 30,000 acres that are actually holding those bass, which is made up of the wild rest beds, some of the shallow slopweed, and of course there will be some fish caught off the docks. That angler that's able to decipher those shallow water weeds will be crowned Leech Lake champion.
That's true. So let's take you out on the water and we're going to find out who the master that deciphers this body of water really is.
.603 right now. We'll see you at 2 o'clock. Go ahead and go. Get back to pontoon, go ahead and go.
Early in the morning, only about an hour and a half into it, Billy Hildebrandt and his amateur Jeff Vitale have got 1 fish in the boat. Slow start for what Billy expected, but the cold weather's kind of slowed the fish down. Being the veteran that Billy is, though, he's bound to catch a few. Let's stick around and see how he does.
Who'd have thunk Leech Lake is as calm as glass. I mean, it's unbelievable. We've had 2 days of practice up here where it absolutely rocks and rolls out on the main lake. We're having a good day. I mean, we've only got one fish yet, but it's 8:30 in the morning. And being in the third flight, we've got a little more time than the rest of the guys, and hopefully we'll need that time and make good use of it. It's fishing. I mean, you just keep plugging away. Come on, fish. Come on, fish.
It's only about 3 feet deep, but after a couple days of sunshine, these cattails produce a lot of oxygen, and a lot of times the fish will come in here, but they're really spooky. This is another spot that it would be nice to have a little bit of wind, just a breeze to break up the outline on the top of the water.
We're here watching pro angler Dick Hiley and his amateur partner Jason Barrett Sr. Interesting situation here. Jason Barrett is in the bubble position. In other words, he's in 40th place for Amateur Angler of the Year. In other words, if he stays there or moves up, he qualifies for the prestigious Tournament of Champions. If he drops, he's out. But they've got 7 fish in the box. They're small. They're going to try to catch one more smaller fish to limit out, and then they're going to head back out to the big lake to see if they can catch some bigger fish. Well, there you saw it. Before we even had a chance to climb into the boat, they caught their 8th fish, their limit fish. This is looking real good for Jason Barrett to qualify for the Tournament of Champions coming up. They got their limit now. They're probably going to head back out to the lake. We're going to follow them.
Got one? Nah. That's a northern. No, we're getting a lot of fish, but nothing, no bass. I got a bite too. Nah. Rock bass.
Leech Lake bass. Now we have 3 of them this size, and we got 1 small one. 4 to a limit, and if the next 4 look like this, we're going to be bad.
Put him in.
Oh, he's got company. That makes 3 really nice bass for Mike Schultz and his amateur partner Patrick Carter.
Stay tuned. The Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour will be right back after this.
Wow, what an awesome adventure, the Minnesota Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame. And Chipper, looks like it's fun for the whole family.
Oh, fun for the whole family. What a great way to introduce kids to the wonderful sport of fishing. Lifelong pastime, huge fishing pond, all free for the kids to take part in. In fact, veteran Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour angler Ted Capper has just been inducted to that Minnesota Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame, Tommy.
And what's awesome, too, is right now we've got anglers on the water that someday could be future Freshwater Fishing Hall of Famers. So let's take you back out, and we'll see how they're doing.
Fighting like crazy. Let me get them.
All right. I didn't know you had one back there.
And basically I'm just covering water, looking for one big bite to fill out, you know, our almost well over 3-pound average we've got right now. And I'm just doing everything I can to get one more big one, because I got a feeling it's going to take a lot of weight today, the way the fish were biting.
Look at this.
Leech Lake hogs. This is unbelievable fishing up here at Leech, and it's kind of fun. We're fishing this area where there's quite a few local people fishing too, and they're all wanting to know how we're doing.
The race is on for Angler of the Year, and Jeremy Fleechek just put his 3rd fish in the box. He's got a shot at Angler of the Year. This could be it.
Got him?
Yep.
Just drag him through. Keep cranking. Crank him. You got him? Yep. Just a little guy.
We got that one for a kicker so far, and 3 more on the other side, 2 real nice ones, and 1 guy that we hope to get rid of eventually over here. So far so good. They got to keep biting.
Fish some of the rice, and we got 5 little ones. I'm content with that. Just trying to qualify for the Tournament of Champions.
Currently in 7th place for Angler of the Year is John Kopinski. He's opted to head into the pencil reeds versus some of the wild rice out here on Leech Lake. Let's see how he does.
The fish are kind of holed up in the thick stuff, so bring the spoon to it nice and slow. Give the fish a chance to feel it coming through there, and then hopefully when they come up they actually grab it.
We've probably got somewhere around 8-9 pounds in the live well right now, with just 2 fish, and we're only an hour and a half into it. If it keeps up, we'll be mean.
So we're just trying to go through and pick up a straggler, which would be nice. Because these are the smallest fish I caught, and pre-fish caught a real nice fish. And now today I don't think we got a fish over 2 pounds.
The key to this area, I should say, is we've got about 6 feet of water underneath us, right along the edge of the rice. A lot of the rice in here has only got a couple feet, and it seems like the better fish are in that deeper edge, right up along what we call standing rice, where we've got kind of lay down here, and about 50 feet over here we've got the standing rice, and they seem to be right on that inside transition.
I guess to this magnitude, it's so much thicker out here than it is anywhere else. The rice, it's like a whole new ball game.
Rice up here is different because it's a harvestable crop, and we need to respect that too. And there's been some issues, and we need to deal with that, and an awareness. Every angler up here wants to do right by the lake and right by the tribes up here in the Native Americans, and just understanding.
It's going to be a close 12. We better bump it on the board. Well, I think that's kind of it for this area here. We kind of worked it enough, and we might have to make a little bit of a run now. I was just fishing a little 1/4 ounce sinker in a little Berkeley Power. I think they call it a hula grub.
Going for a short ride.
With this being the 4th and final qualifying event for the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour, these anglers are under a lot of pressure, Tommy. There's a whole bunch at stake.
Oh, I'm telling you, there's 3 things that these anglers are jockeying for position on. Number 1 is who's going to be crowned the Leech Lake champion. Number 2 is the top 40 go on to the prestigious Tournament of Champions. The rest of the field have to pack and drag and go home. And number 3 is we're going to crown an Angler of the Year after this event is over.
So stick with us, because we're about to see who the 2000 Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour Angler of the Year will be.
The Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour is brought to you by Midwest Sports Channel, the Minnesota State Lottery, Ranger Boats, and the Star Tribune.
We had some really big fish going yesterday, and they were in some shallow reeds in the wind. They're up there eating the crayfish and stuff, and they're just all over in there. And today it was dead calm, it was crystal clear, and it was really shallow, and there wasn't a bass in sight.
And as I'm going over this great expanse that looks like an ocean, I looked at my am and said, hey, I could actually water ski out here today. For the first time, I've never seen Leech Lake this calm, ever.
Just small fish. I've never seen fish out here that small. Usually when you get limits, it's you've got all 3-pounders, maybe a couple 4s. But we were just on the small fish, couldn't get the big fish.
I don't know how much we got. I can't even, I'm just shaking because it's big. I mean, it's big. It's the best, probably the best I've done this year so far.
If we're not in the top, we should have been. We probably lost at least a half a dozen fish over 3 pounds. It just was one of them days we couldn't keep them hooked up.
Well, good afternoon, Walker, Minnesota, and welcome to the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour. Check out that Leech Lake largemouth bass.
We got 21.37 to start out. Holy cow, 21.37 pounds. Michael, you guys got it done today, son. We've got another nice looking bag here.
And this is past Angler of the Year, Paul Newman, with his amateur partner, with a great big bass.
Currently 21.37 pounds is leading it, but
We got a new leader, 2205.
2205 is the new leader.
Look at that fish.
498. That's the new big fish.
That's the new big fish. It's 498.
I think I spent more time looking at the eagles and the pelicans and all the ducks and the loons than I did fishing. Obviously 4 fish, but absolutely gorgeous lake, and I had a really great time.
You got a new leader, 2418.
2418. We're almost to the quarter of the century mark, but Scott, always prevalent, always tough, always looking sharp. How do you feel, man?
I feel great. Practice was okay. I didn't know what was going to happen with that cold front because yesterday's practice was really slow. But frankly, the fish were going. They were a lot slower. Just had to slow down and weed them out. We lost a lot of good fish today. We had a ball.
Here's a gentleman who's 10th for Angler of the Year and looks like he's going to have a real crack at it.
Holy cow.
Stranger to big bass.
Oh,
Dean
my.
Capra. Joe DeCinca is his amateur partner, and holy bucket.
Look at
Dean,
the sack
look
of
at that
fish.
bag.
Dean, you won a tournament on Gull Lake. Are you trying to do the same thing here?
I'm speechless right now. I just got to know the weight.
2947.
29.47.
Check out that group of fish, Walker, Minnesota.
Leech Lake, home of the monster everything.
It's time now for the winning tip, brought to you by Berkeley.
One of the main things about fishing shallow water and heavy cover is locating the fish. Now how we did that was we took a Northland jawbreaker spoon and took it and whipped it way out into the rice paddies and then brung it back across the top. What would happen is either the fish would hit the bait and we'd get them, or they'd blow up on it and knock the bait out of the water. You drop the rod, you pick up your other rod, and you throw it out there. Now this here's a jungle jig tipped with a power craw. That power craw, when they take it, they don't let go of it. And you can set the hook. It's really a neat pattern. It's kind of a 1-2 punch, and it's kind of a known pattern for up here, but it worked really well for us today. One other way that you can catch a big fish when you need one, and this goes back, this fish that we caught goes out to Roland Martin because him and my dad fished a tournament up here many years ago, and the Blue Fox Roland Martin spinnerbait was one of the baits that caught us one of our bigger fish today. And what we did was we were casting into the reeds and pulling it through there. It's a pretty well-known pattern up here for catching fish. So basically, to recap, we caught a lot of fish on the spoons early in the morning. We backed it up with the power craws if they wouldn't take the spoon, and then the big fish at the end of the day come on the spinnerbait.
We're going to be that 2000 Millennium Angler of the Year. It just feels so good because, you know, no one can take that away from me. No one can ever, that name's going to be in that trailer right next to all those other ones, you know, and it'll never go away. It just feels unbelievable. It's just awesome.
Leech Lake may be known as the muskie capital of the world, but I'll tell you what, that reputation just might change after Dean Capra and Joe DeSenka put it together today for 29.4 pounds. And Tommy, they're the 2000 Leech Lake Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour champions.
And they definitely earned it, Chip, because they practically blew the entire field away with the closest competitor 3 pounds down and third place about 6 or 7. And for a lake that's normally known for its big muskie and walleye in both size and number, these guys came in with an awesome bag of bass, averaging almost 4 pounds.
And averaging was what it was all about, because today we also crowned Angler of the Year, and that means this angler stuck it together for 4 straight tournaments, and what a title that is.
And what a battle it was, too, with it coming down to 2 up-and-coming new young stars in the bass world. Jeremy Fleechek in second, but number 1, Chris Ludke. And following close behind for a tight Angler of the Year race, names with the likes of John Laub, Gary Lake, and Dean Capra.
But Chris is the one. Chris Ludke's the champion. He'll be the first boat out as we head into the Tournament of Champions coming up, Lake Vermilion, Tower, Minnesota. Be there for the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour.